Good afternoon. Please bear with me during this video. I am incredibly tired because I've been gardening all day. So I have got a lot of requests for how to draw anatomy. I can't really cover this in just one video. I can show you how I draw anatomy and how I draw figures and put them together. And I have two reference books that have really helped me out like throughout the last 17 years of me drawing. So yeah, I'll show you those books and then I'll get into how I build figures. So the first book is Figure Drawing, Design, and Innovation. It really, this is like amazing reference book. Animators and illustrators go to this, like in school. This was such a huge book for me, but it breaks down the figure and it shows you like how to build your figures up and what shapes to use and where the main points are, and gives you like how to break it down and how to put your figures together and how to do gestures and extended studies. Pardon the glare. But 100% this book, if you are a beginning artist, an intermediate, if you're looking to go forward in art in school, if you're in high school, I definitely try and get a copy of this book. I think you can get it off of Amazon. Amazon.ca. I'm from Canada. I think you can get it for about under $30. And in the States, you can probably get it a hell of a lot cheaper. Yeah, but this is 100%, pardon the nudity, one of the best anatomy books that I own. And it's by Michael Hampton. So yeah, that's book number one. And then the next book, when I was drawing comics, it's by Christopher Hart, which I'll get into him in a minute. Drawing Cutting Edge Anatomy. It's an awesome book if you like superhero figures, and it goes into different body types. And it's really, I found this book really helped me, even for faces and facial expressions and stuff, but it kind of breaks it down. It gives you like what lines to choose when you're picking, when you're trying to describe the form. It's an okay book. I think you need to be a little bit more advanced for this one though, because it really doesn't break down a lot. It just shows you like what lines you want to choose to get idealized figures. Anyway, but it was one of the ones that really helped me out when I was learning. Christopher Hart does a lot of books. He himself, I don't like his art, but the other artists that he gets to do art in the books, they're usually phenomenal. So just be careful when you pick up his books. Some of them are not great. This one though, 100% I recommend. And this is the book you want to get if you like are serious about art and want to go forward. So Figure Drawing and Design and Innovation by Michael Hampton. Like one of the best books I own. And in another video I will show you my studio and my bookshelves, which are full of all kinds of reference books. So moving forward, how I draw figures, how I put the body together. We are going to use Mccree because he's fun to draw and he's big and bulky, which is kind of what I want for this demo. And he doesn't have any tattoos that I know of, so he's felt like Hanzo, and I gotta focus on that detail. So setting up the face on him, he's got a blockier jaw. And then from there I usually go to the neck and I start building up the rib cage. Now usually when you build the rib cage, you want to do an oval and you want to tilt it, like the bottom is tilted forward and the top is tilted back. When I build my figures, I put the shoulders in as well, so it looks like a giant triangle. And then from the bottom of the ribs, there's like this, the midsection, which then goes into the pelvis. And because of how much I've drawn in my schooling and just how many years I have under my belt on drawing, I know the distancing and I know where things go. So it's kind of hard for when I'm trying to describe it for you guys without going like back to like 100% basics. Maybe eventually I will do that. It's just going to take a lot of time and a lot of videos because anatomy is one of those things that it takes time. There's no shortcut to it. You have to learn your superficial muscle groups, the muscles that are on the surface, because those are what you see and those are what affect anatomy. Like when you're drawing. Unless you're going into medical illustration, you really just want to focus on your superficial muscles. Or if you're drawing like some deranged zombie where you can see through into the like muscle groups that are under the superficials. Okay. So I've drawn a bunch of lines here. All right, so I usually throw the shoulders out. You should be able to fit 3 heads. So a head, and then the main version of the head on the shoulders. That's pretty basic. And then the chest is usually about 2 heads wide. Through the center line, if you draw your center line at the pit of the neck, that's an anatomy point that you want to remember is the pit of the neck, because it's kind of where like the strong cords of the neck attach, just on either side of it, and that'll give you like that really defined neck. And then on the back, it's called the 7th cervical vertebrae. It's basically the little node that sticks out of the back of the neck. That's the other one that's really important to remember. So if you have your oval for your chest, about halfway down that oval, this is the rib cage, you're gonna have your pec lines, and then they also follow the flow of the shoulder, or the deltoid muscle. So they kind of wrap around, and then what you do is you find the pit of the neck, and it's a 90-degree angle. So 90 degrees out, and that's where your nipples lie. The body is literally just math and fractions, and it's in angles, and it's kind of funny. So there's the 2 fake abs. Those aren't usually defined, but it's kind of like one block. And then you've got 2 sets of abs before the belly button comes in. Now the belly button actually should be the top of the pelvis, and the pelvis is tilted. In men, it is only tilted slightly. And usually the pelvis is about half of the rib cage, and then there's the connector muscles in here, which are your obliques. So you see the back of the box right there? That's about where the belly button's going to be. And then that center line comes all the way down to about the bottom of the box, and that's going to be where the groin sits. For men, they've got hangy junk. We'll just put that in there so we don't get in crap for drawing dingleberries and twigs and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, so the obliques wrap around the pelvis, and the back of this box is like you put your glutes in. Then you're gonna have your legs. The leg actually attaches up here, like it's about mid hip where your thigh bone comes in, and that's called the great trochanter. I'm kind of getting a little bit more advanced. I don't need to, but you just put your thigh in here. You've got your hangy bits there. Your arm is actually, the elbow will sit about at the belly button, in that range between like this area and here. That's where the elbow is going to go. It depends if the person has incredibly long arms or short arms. Like, everyone's different, right? But that's about a good measuring point for things. This person doesn't have a face. We're just gonna Put a happy little hat right here. Cover your junk up, Mccree. And because Mccree's missing his one arm, I'll just put his mechanical arm in. So the ribs do this. So here's your rib cage shape, okay? Your rib cage is here. You make sure that it's like an egg, and then you put a little oval at the top, and that's where the neck sits. And from the center point here, you're gonna go up on about, I'd say that's about a 30 degree, 25 to 30 degree angle, and that's gonna be your collarbone, which that brings trapezius in, and then you're gonna have like the shoulder girdle sitting out here, which that brings in the pecs, which is halfway down there, and then from here you're gonna have another center line, which brings in the pelvis. And the main shapes you really want to remember are ovals, a Vicks tablet, like a rounded triangle. I always say Vicks tablet, like, you know, those Vicks lozenges. That's what it looks like to me, or the Vicks symbol. Circles, and these wonky little sausage shapes, which kind of look like Swiss Army knives, but I just call them sausages. You're going to build your legs and your arms with these sausages. Sometimes they're going to be a little bit more tapered off, but that's just the way it goes. And the oval, like, if you really want to start at basics, start with your oval to get your major masses in. You can even use an oval for the pelvis. You just have to remember that it is a large, like a basin, or you can just use a very bendy box, like a Gumby box is what I call them. And you can even use that for the rib cage if you have to. Like, you can just go like, it's easier to wrap your head around using squares, you can use a box like that. It's not that difficult really, and then you just kind of, you start placing in things. But yeah, those are your main shapes, and always run center lines around your through your major masses, because you're always going to have the center line through your major mass. The body can be divided in half, right? We're symmetrical, essentially. Like when you're focusing on basics and learning, try to keep things a bit symmetrical. And then asymmetry comes in when you've got, like when you understand your basic anatomy, then you can bring in asymmetry and you can start throwing things around and screwing around with proportions. Anyways, I hope this video, it's gone on for 13 minutes, oh gosh. I hope this video has been helpful to people. If it hasn't, let me know. If you want me to do more, let me know. If I do work on a series, it will be shorter videos, because it's really hard to grasp anatomy in one sitting, because you've got so many proportions that you're trying to remember, and the major masses really need independent study. Again, the top book, especially Michael Hampton, like 100%, I would pick up this book if you're really serious about anatomy. Like, amazing, amazing book. And the lessons it shows you on how to draw things, they really work. And a lot of it is observation and practice, right? Like, everyone's like, oh yeah, you're amazing at art. Well, I've put the practice in. To give you guys like a time limit, I've been doing this for probably hardcore study for almost 20 years. God, I'm old. Anyways, like, I really started focusing on art when I was like 13. So it's just under 20 years for me. So I've been studying and studying and studying, and I'll show you my old artwork, and I'll show you where I came from. I did that sketchbook review, the 2004, and then the redraws in 2009. I did that, but I'll show you like my beginning stuff that I have on lined paper and where I came from. I literally taught myself how to draw off of Pokemon. It's pretty crazy as I throw my pencil around. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you have any questions, leave it in the comments below, or if you are on Tumblr and you see this video, you can put it in my ask box or in the comments on Tumblr. Thanks, bye.